I'm an opera singer, and I'm a voice teacher, and I love music. And when I say I love music, it's so much deeper than that. I owe music a debt because it literally saved my life. And when I tell you that it saved my life, I'd have to expand a little bit more on that. When people ask me, why opera or why music? I want to be able to tell them my story, but I haven't been able to tell them exactly what I mean about how I got my start in music and what music has done for me. So let me bring you on a journey and tell you how I got started in music and what it did for me. So let me bring you back to good old early 90s. I'm sorry for that visual. So let's remember when fanny packs ruled the world, and there were jumpers, which I pretty much owned all of them, and the 90s bangs, I had those too. I was an Army brat, and my dad was in the Army, my mom was in the government, and that meant that we moved around a lot. I mean, you can say that I was pretty fortunate to move around to a lot of really great places. I mean, we lived in Germany, Virginia, New Hampshire, Arizona, later on in life, Hawaii. Don't be jealous. But in this time frame, I lived in Virginia, and I was about, well, they say 7 or 8 years old. So when you're a military brat, you don't get to lay down solid roots, so you spend a lot of time with your parents or other military kids or adults. And I would say that I was pretty mature for my age. I wasn't goofy, but I was different. And that meant that I was teased and I was made fun of a lot. And back in the 90s, there was no anti-bullying program. So if you had something like that going on, there wasn't much you can do about it. I mean, I went to my parents and I went to my teachers, but you really kind of had to suck it up. And my dad was in Korea at the time, so my mom was the one who really just had to figure it out with me. But if you can imagine, if you're told every day that you're ugly, that you're stupid, or that you're just not good at anything, that just starts to wear a hole right here. And I started to believe that I just wasn't good at anything. What was I good at it? Nothing, really. And I went to my mom, and I said that to her. Mom, I'm not good at anything. And that broke her heart. And you know what she said? Nope, not my daughter, not today. And she got to work as my advocate, and she didn't want to have me slip through the cracks. So she wanted to make sure that she found something that would make me feel whole. So she got me into tap dance. And, oh man, I was really bad. I mean, terrible. But I tried really, really hard because I had something to fill. And to be honest with you, there were 12 of us in that group, and all of us were pretty bad. But eventually I threw out those metal shoes, and I looked at my mom with those big doe eyes and said, anything else I can try? So she put me in ballet. And you know, I wasn't half bad, but I wasn't going to become a ballerina anytime soon. And the time came for my first performance, and we were dressed up as these cutest little, I think, froggies you can ever think of. And I was one of the lead leapfrogs. We were supposed to leapfrog over each other, and I didn't tuck myself in appropriately, and I had my arms stuck out, and all the little leapfrogs fell over me. So needless to say, I upsetted my teacher, and I wasn't asked back. Yeah, I was kicked out of ballet. So I was back to not being good at anything. So my mom put me in Taekwondo, and I was okay, but let's be honest. Without these shoes, I'm 4'11" and 3/4 as an adult, At 8 years old, I was probably 4'2". I wasn't going to become a ninja anytime soon. So I tried really hard at that, but it wasn't my calling. So around that time, my school was holding a talent show. And I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I decided to try out for my school talent show. So without telling my mom, I decided that I was going to go do that. Okay. And I was going to do something that I liked to do, and that was to sing. So for the school talent show, you have to provide your own items. So if you're a cheerleader, you bring your own pom-poms. If you're doing magic tricks, you bring, your magical bunny, whatever that is. Since I was going to be singing, I was going to bring my boombox. And when I mean boombox, I mean cassette player. This is the 90s, so I thought it was really cool with my boombox. And it was a big red boombox with an antenna. It was so cool. So I walked in with my big boombox, and it was in an auditorium, it was actually in the cafeteria. And there were 3 teachers there. Now, I want you to think about this being an elementary school talent show. I just assumed that they were going to say, oh yeah, you're great, you're 5th in line, and you're good to go. That wasn't the case. I didn't know I was going in to be judged. So I chose to sing Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. So I went in there with my big red boombox, and I placed it down, and I sang my heart out. And I was so proud of myself because I thought I did so good. And when I was done, the first teacher, the look on her face said it all. Oh, honey, singing. Oh, it's not for you. Second teacher, oh, do you have any other talents? Can you dance? Or can you juggle? Or can you do the ABCs backwards? What? Okay, so the third teacher, she was like, yeah, anything else? Then I realized I had to say out loud what I had been told and what I had been thinking all along. No, ma'am, I'm not good at anything. And I picked up my little red boombox, and I walked out. So I went home, and I told my mom, Mom, I tried out for the talent show. Oh, honey, that's great. Tell me all about it. I didn't make it. They told me I can't sing. And my mom said, oh, what? I think you have a very pretty voice. Nobody in our family can sing. Just the thought of you being able to sing at all, it's just amazing. I'm like, what are you talking about? They just told me I can't sing. I'm not good at anything. She said, well, you know what? I'm going to get you a voice teacher. I'm going to call right now. And at this point, I just thought, great, another thing for someone to tell me I'm not good at. But you know what? I let her do it because I just had this big gaping hole. So she called this place called Dance Etc. And they did everything from pottery to voice. And they said that, yes, they had a voice teacher. So we called the voice teacher, and her name was Virginia Alonzo. And she was an opera singer. Fancy. But she doesn't take kids. But she would be happy to take me. And she would be happy to listen because she knew all the voice teachers in the area, which was great. She would be able to place me with the best one in the area, and that would be that. So my mom said, great, and we would see her tomorrow. So she hung up the phone, and we went to go see her the very next day. She was an hour away from our home, and I was very excited just to see what would happen. So we went to this woman's house, and we got to work right away. And the first thing she wanted to do was do scales to see how high and low I could sing. And then she said, let's do lip trills. And I didn't know what those were, so she said, can you go, and I went like a horse. And she said, oh, that's great. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, lady. I thought she was weird, but when you're 8, it's just new stuff you just don't know. And then the next thing she wanted me to do was sing any song I could possibly think of. And the first song I could think of was Always Be My Baby by Mariah Carey, which is the most inappropriate song an 8-year-old could sing. So, great. And then the last thing she had me do was lay on the floor, and she put a big book on my stomach. Now, I'm a voice teacher now, so I know what she was doing. She wanted to check for my breath control. But I want you to imagine how weird that was when I'd never met this woman before. Why was I laying on the floor? Just imagine how weird that was. So, right exactly after that, she made me leave the room. So all I could think of was, I must have been so bad that she didn't want to tell me to my face. She had to tell my mom how bad I was. So I left, and I had to go sit in her foyer on the chair, and it took forever. And all I could think of was, oh my God, I must be so bad. She's recommending like 12 voice teachers right now. And then it took even longer, and then I thought, oh my God, what if she's recommending no voice teachers? And then it took even longer. No, 12 teachers. No voice teachers. Maybe 87 voice teachers. Oh my God, that's so bad. Finally, my mom comes out. Nobody says anything to me, and then we leave. We get in the car. My mom starts crying hysterically. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. Oh my God, Mom, I'm so sorry. And she goes, Angela, stop. It's not like that, honey. Virginia wants to take you as her youngest student. And then everything changed. And I said, because I'm good. And she said, because you're that good, honey. I started voice lessons with her the very next week. And I remember Virginia saying to me, I know this sounds really scary, Angela, but I want to teach you opera. Because if you can sing opera, you can sing anything you want. Because I believe in you. Because I know you can do it. And you know what? She was right. I could do it. Because I was that good. She took a child that didn't believe in herself and filled that hole. It was amazing. And it didn't fix the bullying, but there was something that no one could take away from me. I had something that made me feel whole. And I owe my mother and all of my teachers and music a debt that I can't explain to you. And that's why I love music. And that's why opera. And that's why music. And that's why I teach today as well, too. I started about 17 or 18 years old to become a music teacher because I wanted to fill a gap for other people as well. Because I knew that there were children and teenagers and adults that had that same aching feeling that I had. So that's why today I go out and I continue to teach and I perform so that I can show people what music really, truly means to me. So today what I'd like to do for you as a thank you for letting me share what music really, truly means to me is I want to show you what I feel is fitting is my very first song that I learned as a student. The first song that I ever learned was called Quella Fiamma, and it's an Italian aria that I learned with Virginia. It's called The Flame That Burns Within Me, and I felt that it would be fitting to be able to sing that song for you this afternoon. So without further ado, thank you for giving me that opportunity.